to save and protect us from all evil, since the disclosure of this wisdom now is in flawed generations, to now be a shield for us, to wholeheartedly cling to our Father in heaven. Previous generations were men of action and pious, and the good deeds saved them from the accusers. Now we are remote from the higher root, like the yeast in the barrel. Who will protect us if not our study of this wonderful and deep wisdom? And particularly in light of what the Rav said, that the concealed have now become as the revealed. 40. Jerusalem Rabbis. The virtue of studying the Zohar is known to cancel all kinds of lawlessness and difficult and evil decrees.
ציטוט 38, הקדמת הרבנים לזוהר.
38. Introduction to the Rabbis of the Zohar. Let's hope that all our brothers, the house of Israel, will purpose to engage in the book of Zohar together, rich and poor, poor and rich, small and great. How good and how pleasant if they try to establish groups to study the Zohar, and especially at this time, in which sparks of redemption are beginning to appear. We must exert in this holy study that is able to usher the coming of the Messiah, our righteousness. 37. Rav Kook. Now the time dictates acquiring much possessions in the inner Torah. The book of Zohar breaks new paths, sets lanes, makes a highway in the desert, and all its crops are ready to open the doors of redemption.
ציטוט 36, בעל הסולם, הקדמת
36. Baal HaSulam, the introduction to the book of Zohar, item 69. The redemption of Israel and the whole of Israel's merit depend on the study of the Zohar and the internality of the Torah.
35, בעל הסולם, מאמר לסיום הזוהר.
35. Baal HaSulam, a speech for the completion of the Zohar. It is said in the Zohar that the book of Zohar will be revealed only at the end of days, the days of the Messiah. This is so because we have already said that if the degrees of the students are not at the full measure of the degree of the author, they will not understand his intimations, since they do not have a common attainment. And since the degree of the authors of the Zohar is at the full level of the 125 degrees, they cannot be attained prior to the days of the Messiah. It follows that there will be no common attainment with the authors of the Zohar in the generations preceding the days of the Messiah. Hence, the Zohar could not be revealed in the generations before the generation of the Messiah.
ציטוט 6 מתוך זוהר לעם, זוהר חדש. החוכמה שהאדם צריך לדעת אותה.
Item 6.
להסתכל בסוד אדונו ולדעת את עצמו.
The wisdom that one should know and to observe the secret of his master, to know himself, to know who he is, how he was created, where he comes from and where he is going, how the body is corrected, and how he will be judged by the King of all. To know and to observe the secret of the soul. What is the soul within him? Where does it come from? And why does it come into this body, which is a foul drop that is here today and in the grave tomorrow? To know the world one is in, and for what the world will be corrected, to gaze upon the sublime secrets of the upper world, and to know one's master. And one sees all that within the secrets of the Torah. We'll be reading from Zohar for All, portion Vayakel, paragraph 151.
כל מי שרוצה לשאול שאלה, מיקרופון וטלפונים לסגור. שוב, ספר זוהר לעם, כערכי, עמוד 298.
Zohar for all, portion Vayakel. It's volume 5, and we're reading item 151. Hi, we're reading from Zohar for All, volume 5, Vayakel. You can ask questions through the website kab.tv. We're going to start from 151. There are mitzvot of the Torah that depend on speech, as there are others that depend on action. These are 6 mitzvot that are applied here in the prayer as well. 1. To fear the honorable and terrible name. 2. To love him. 3. To bless him. 4. To unify him. 5. For the priest to bless the people. 6. To give one's soul to him. These 6 mitzvot that are done in the prayer depend on speech, besides those that depend on action, such as tzitzit and tefillin. 152. The Zohar interprets 6 mitzvot. 1. To fear the honorable and terrible name. This mitzvah is done in those praises that King David said, and in the offerings in the Torah, where one should fear one's master, since those songs stand in a place called fear, Malchut. Also, all those hallelujah in the text are the fear of the Creator, Malchut. One should place one's will in these songs in fear. 153. 2. To bless him. When one has reached the blessing, shall be praised, he will place his will on blessing the Creator, as in the blessing, Maker of Light, Maker of the Lights. 3. To love him. When reaching the blessing, everlasting love, and the words, and you shall love the Lord your God, which is love of the Creator. 4. To unify him. It is written, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Here, there is the unification of the Creator, to unify his name with the will of the heart, as it should be. Henceforth it is the memory of the Exodus from Egypt. It is a mitzvah to mention the Exodus from Egypt, as it is written, And you shall remember that you were a slave in the land of Egypt. 154. 5. For the priest to bless the people. This is to include Israel together when taking blessings above, for at that time the assembly of Israel, Malchut, receives blessings. 6. To give one's soul to him. It is a good time to give one's soul, nefesh, to him, and to give him the soul, neshama, with the will of the heart. When they fall on their faces, they say, To you, O Lord, I shall carry my soul. Thus he should aim his heart and will to him, to give him the soul with a complete will. Those are the 6 mitzvot that stand in the prayer, corresponding to the 600 mitzvot of the Torah. 155. But there are 13 other mitzvot in the Torah, since there are 613 mitzvot. So why was it said that the 6 mitzvot correspond to 600? These 13 mitzvot are to extend the 13 qualities of Rachamim, in which all are included. The 13 qualities of Rachamim that we say correspond to them. And these 6 mitzvot by which the prayer is crowned correspond to the Chagat Nehi that the prayer, Malchut, receives from Zerampin. 156. Happy is he who places his heart and will on that, complementing them each day. Also, many other things depend on these, but when a person comes to these places, he should aim his heart and will to complement a mitzvah that depends on the word. Then it is declared and said about him, and he said unto me, You are my servant, Israel, in whom I will be glorified. 157. And Moses assembled the whole of the congregation of Israel. He assembled them to give them the Sabbath as before, since before Israel made the calf, he gave them the Shabbat, and it is that which the mixed multitude did not keep. When they heard between me and the children of Israel, they said, But we were deprived of that matter. Promptly it is written, the people assembled about Aaron to make the calf, and many were lured after them. After those who worshipped the calf died, Moses assembled only the children of Israel, and gave them the Shabbat as before, as it is written, 6 days shall work be done. The article, the fire on Sabbath Eve. 158. You shall not kindle a fire in any of your dwellings on the Shabbat day. This matter was given to the high sages, since the Shabbat is a high matter. 159. When the 6th day reaches its evening, a star from the north side shines, with 70 other stars with it. That star strikes those 70 other stars, and all are included in that star, so all 70 become one in it. That star expands and becomes a fire that blazes on all sides, and then that fire spreads around 1,000 mountains, standing over them like a thread surrounding them. The 6 days are Chagat Nehi. The 6th day is Yesod. In the evening, at the end of Yesod, the foreskin, the 3 klipot, increases in its dominion to separate the Zivug in Malchut, which is the Shabbat. A star is the klipa, stormy wind, in which there are harsh dinim from Masach of Malchut of Midat Adin, intensifying to illuminate from the north side, from the left line, to extend the Chokhmah from there, from above downwards, as do all the klipot. Also, 70 other stars are with it, 70 ministers that extend from the illumination of the left. There is no harsh quality of din of the stormy wind in them, but that star strikes those 70 other stars, meaning mates with them. All are included in that star, meaning that the harsh quality of din in the star spreads through all of them, and all 70 become one in it. That star expands and becomes a fire that blazes on all the sides. For in bonding with the 70 stars, it becomes a fire, harsh din, that blazes and burns to all the sides, since these are very harsh and strong dinim, and there is no one who can withstand them. There is no correction for it except concealing. Nehi are called mountains. When they extend Chokhmah, they are 1,000 mountains, because 1,000 is an appellation for Chokhmah. When it is said, then that fire spreads around 1,000 mountains, it means that the fire spreads around Nehi to circle from them. 160. The fire draws other colours to it from Nehi, which are more internal than its colour. The first color is green, which is illumination of the middle line. When that color stands, the fire rises and leaps over that green color, going inside it and throwing the green color outside. The green color stands outside, and the fire of the star, which consists of 70 stars, stands inside. That is, it cancelled the illumination of the middle line, repelled it, and governed in its stead, because wherever the dinim of the harsh quality of din cling, the lights promptly depart. 161. Afterwards it extended a second color, white, which is illumination from the right line, and illuminated inside. Once that color stood, that fire of the star rose and threw the white color outside, while it went inside. So it was with all the colors, throwing them out and entering, approaching the hidden point, Teret Yesod, to receive light. It is so because if it approached, the light would depart from Yesod, and it would receive it. But a correction was done, so it would not be able to approach. 162. And I looked, and behold, a stormy wind came out of the north, a great cloud with a blazing fire, and a brightness was round about it, and out of its midst was as though electricity out of the fire. Ezekiel saw that sight in a correction that stands only when that star governs. It does not always govern because it is concealed. It turned out that the stormy wind came to conquer the entire world before Nebuchadnezzar, but the stormy wind is a star that swallowed 70 other stars. This is the stormy wind that Eliyahu saw, of which it is written, rending the mountains and breaking the rocks, since there is no power that can withstand it. This is what always stands before all the klipot outside, to keep from it them that are inside, like a peel that protects the brain. Although it was concealed, its power is always outside of all the dinim, to protect them, as it is the root of all the dinim. If it were cancelled, all the dinim would be cancelled with it.
We make an effort to be together, all of us, because the more we try to be in connection, we come closer to the reforming light. Please continue.
163. It is called a storm because it storms everything above and below, and there is no one who can withstand it. It comes from the north, for it is written, out of the north the evil will break forth. For itself, it is harsh dinim of the Masach de Malchut de Midat Adin. However, it comes from the north to draw Chokhmah from the left line, as do all the klipot. It is so because there are several other pchinot outside the north, gripping to that stormy wind. Hence it comes from the north, meaning received the dinim of the north as well. 164. The second klippah in Ezekiel is called Great Cloud, since it is the waist of gold. It grips to the north, to the left line, the middle point that stands in the desolate places. And because he knew how to seduce Eve, he governs the middle point of the world, except for the land of Israel. When Israel sang within it, it did not govern it. Afterwards, when Israel sinned, it governed the Holy Land as well. As it is written, he has drawn back his right hand from before the enemy. The klippah that is called a cloud is waist of gold from the actual left line. When the illumination of Chokhmah from the left line, called gold, illuminates from below upward, it is good gold. When the illumination of Chokhmah extends from above downward, it becomes waist of gold. Thus, Great Cloud, the waist of gold, is from the actual left line. However, The stormy wind is from the Dinim Danukva Masachta Malchut, but comes from the north. It is called the point of ruin. And because it seduced Eve to extend from above downward, which was the sin of the tree of knowledge, it therefore governs the middle point of the world, gripping to Malchut, the point of the world, as well as the land of Israel after the ruin, because it governs all the places of ruin. 165. Great cloud is a cloud of darkness, which darkened the whole world, as it is written, and the cloud of the Lord was over them by day. It is also written, and your cloud stands over them. This is the illuminating and bright cloud, and all the lights are seen within that cloud. However, that cloud of klipot is a cloud of darkness, which does not shine at all, but stops all the lights, so they cannot be seen because of it. 166. If great cloud is darkness, why is it called great? As it is actually small. It is great because it governs, meaning it is great in ruling because it extends from the Chokhmah on the left line. Moreover, it is called great because the darkness in it is great, as it covers all the lights, and they are not seen before it. It is great from all the things that are done in the world. 167. Blazing fire, the fire of the harsh din, never leaves him. The klipa itself is not fire, as it is not harsh din, but the fire rose from below, from the stormy wind, ignited in it, and never leaves it. And a brightness was round about it. Although it is all in the klipa, blazing fire, there is still brightness around it. Although this side is tum'ah, impurity, there is brightness around it, meaning there is brightness and illumination of kedusha around. So a person does not need to repel it outside, because there is brightness around it. That is, it has a side of kedusha, of faith, and there is no need to treat it with contempt. For this reason, it should be given a portion in the side of kedusha of the faith. This is so because the three klipot correspond to the dinim in Malchut, Zampin and Binah. Stormy wind corresponds to the harsh din in Malchut. Great cloud corresponds to the harsh din in Gvura, the Zarampin. Blazing fire corresponds to the dinim in Binah, into which Malchut ascended. It is written about that third klippa, and a brightness was round about it, meaning it is close to Kedusha because it extends from the obstacle that is placed on the face of a crocodile, so it would not slander with its tail. It follows that it is used for Kedusha. It is written, and a brightness was around about it. Hence there is no need to treat this klippa with contempt, but to give it a portion in the Kedusha, allowing it to grip to Binah. Although there are no dinim at all in Binah herself. However, it is because of Malchut that rose there, for this is regarded as an obstacle for the klipot. 168. And a brightness was round about it, is phrased as a question in Hebrew. This is why there is a need to treat blazing fire with contempt, since the brightness is within and does not stand outside and around blazing fire. And because the brightness is within, it is written, and out of its midst was as though electrum out of the fire. Out of its midst means out of that brightness, as though electricity has the letters chashmal, uttering animals of fire. This is why there is a need to treat the klipa, blazing fire, with contempt, even though it is serving with kedusha, since the kedusha is not outside the klipa, meaning the kedusha appears only after the klipa has been cancelled and repelled. This is considered that the kedusha is inside the klipa, and the klipa guards and surrounds it from without. Hence it should be rejected and treated with contempt, so that the kedusha will appear. It was said, and out of its midst, meaning out of that brightness. This means that the electricity is not from that blazing fire, And the words, uttering animals of fire, mean that the illumination extends from this zvug of voice and speech, which are zon. 169. When the foreskin is on the holy covenant to defile the temple, meaning the crown, Malchut, the temple refrains from disclosing the token of the covenant, the lights of Hasidim disclosed in illumination of Chokhmah, out of the foreskin. And when the brightness enters and separates the foreskin from the temple, it is called electricity, which means sensing and appearing. The word mal is also written in chashmal, electrum, applying to the token of the covenant, which avoids disclosing its light due to the foreskin. And now, because the mal has already been revealed, it will mean rushing to disclose, because he has already circumcised the foreskin. The foreskin comprises 3 klipot: stormy wind, great cloud, and blazing fire. When it is close to Yesod and wishes to suckle from there, all the lights are blocked. And when the brightness, the illumination of Chokhmah, enters Yesod, it cancels and separates all the klipot. They flee as the darkness flees from the light. And then the disclosed chasadim from Yesod appear, the middle line. Also, the light is called chashmal, because it chash or rushes to be revealed when it circumcises the foreskin.
170. The light of the klipot was seen and unseen. There was still a tiny candle in them, meaning it was seen occasionally, but when the chashmal, electricity, appeared, their light disappeared completely. 171. With this brightness, the serpent seduced the woman, Eve, to take light. This is why it is written, and her palate is smoother than oil. Since he placed that light opposite the covenant, and this is why he seduced her, and she took his light. This is the seduction whereby he seduced the woman, as it is written, the lips of a strange woman drop honey. The Klippa, the great cloud, seduced Eve into the tree of knowledge. It was said that because he knew how to seduce Eve, he controlled the middle point of the world. But here, it was said that with this brightness the serpent seduced the woman. However, it does not mean that the brightness seduced her. Rather, the Klippa, great cloud, the serpent, is the one who seduced her. With what light and how did he seduce her? He seduced her to extend and take that light of the brightness. He showed her how that brightness shone over the covenant, separated and chased all the klipot away, and uprooted every evil, as it is the illumination of Chokhmah. This is why the serpent's power was sufficient to seduce her to take that light. Yet, when the brightness illuminates in the matter of the covenant, it illuminates from below upward, like the middle line, which is the covenant, Yesod. But the serpent, the Klippa, the great cloud, seduced her to extend that light of brightness from above downward, as is the way of the great cloud, and by that he caused her to fail. We learn that the sin of the tree of knowledge was that she squeezed grapes, extending illumination of Chokhmah from above downward, as does the Klippa, great cloud. This is the meaning of Noga, brightness, being half Kedusha and half Klippa. 1. If it is clung to the covenant of holiness, illuminating only from below upward, it is half of Vakdegal, great Kedusha. 2. If the Klipot approach to pull its other half from it, Gal Degal, which extends from above downward, then it is an impure Klippa, great cloud. 172. On the 6th day, Yesod, when the end of the evening arrives, the fire of stormy wind leaps ahead and rises up to enter the colors. Then Israel below set up and arranged meals, setting up tables, each his own table. At that time, a flame comes out, the dinim, the malchut that is mitigated in Bina, and strikes the fire, meaning that it bonds with it. Once it strikes it and they unite, the flame and the fire roll together, enter the hole of the great deep, and hide and sit there. After the flame on part of Malchut that is mitigated in Binah struck and united with the fire, which is stormy wind, from the Masach of Malchut, of the quality of harsh din, the fire received the dinim that are mitigated Binah from the flame, and her own harsh dinim were cancelled. Thus, they both rolled into the great deep, the place of dinim de Binah, since the place of dinim de Malchut is called the small deep, and once the harsh dinim of fire were cancelled, the light of the Sabbath could appear. 173. That flame is from the right side, the point of Cholam, by which Malchut rose to Binah and was mitigated. And because she is from the right side, she cancelled the dinim of that fire and admitted her into the whole of the great deep, because the Klippa always wishes to cling to a higher place. Therefore, since a place was given to the Klippa of the fire to cling to Binah, through her bonding with the flame, she promptly left the dinim of Malchut and rose to the dinim of the flame, which cling to Binah, and bonded with her. She sits there in the great deep until the end of the Sabbath. When the Sabbath ends, the people of Israel need to bless for the fire, and through the blessing below a flame comes out, going forth and governing the fire throughout the night of the end of the Sabbath. And the fire surrenders, meaning that her power is concealed. Rav, questions? Yes?
When you say to be together, that we should feel to be together, what is it? That means there was a different state, and we need to feel this. How do we make this change?
It's not that it was or was not. We need to renew it every moment. It's not that in the morning I was in one state, so why am I now separated? Rather, each and every moment we have a problem where at every moment we need to... It's not that the moment has passed and you failed. You didn't fail, but time does its own thing and disconnects you from the correct intention. And so every time. That's why it's written, and he renews every day the act of creation. So with whom exactly to connect, that's not important. Envision a 10, Havaya, a small group, a bigger group. It's completely irrelevant. The only thing that matters is the extent to which we aspire to connect. It doesn't have to be a specific group necessarily. Any group of ours. When I think about it, I don't see faces. These and those are and those others I don't remember, and so on and so forth. There's a kind of sensation of what the group is, and then I adhere to it more and more and more. And through it, I address the Creator, and through it I want to receive His reply. Yes.
So we read that a person just needs to, when he feels the day and night, if I feel, I do know that there is, that I need to make that effort, but on the other hand, I don't want to do it.
The fact that you don't want to do it, that's very good. It means that the Creator is giving you the opportunity to overcome. He's giving you a place to exert. It's the other way around. We need to see, to understand. That all of these disruptions are signs of love. Because through that He wants you to come closer to Him. If not for these disruptions, you would not be able to come close. Anyone whom the Creator loves, He reproves. Those whose closeness He wants, He gives them the burdening of the heart in the spiritual work. That's how it is. Yes.
We need to every moment be have a higher. We need to basically just ask or request. What does this mean? This morning you said that the Borei is actually taking care of us, the last generation.
I don't know what you were so impressed about, but I was impressed about. It's not a question. The fact that we have problems and troubles in the group, and all sorts of people rise against us, or perhaps some organizations, and want to cause us to fail, to erase us, to eradicate us, that is a very clear sign that the Creator is taking care of us and demanding that we grow stronger and closer to Him. Go. Yes, Tans.
Something's not clear. Why in the morning you love the friends, and in the evening you don't feel at all the love towards the friends?
Why are you so confident of what you're saying?
I'm asking, why does this happen? That all the time we're just sort of resetting and restarting.
I didn't understand. Why do we need to constantly renew our contact with the Creator?
No, it's as if we're starting from zero again.
Yes. Because that's how the degrees are. Each time you begin from zero, even from a minus. Of course. Each time it's a new state. And you saw them as new. Yes? Meaning, I promise you that in a year's time or 2 years, you'll feel every time when the spiritual work is renewed within you, you'll feel how it's as if I didn't learn anything, I don't know anything, this for me is completely new, what do they want from me? As if you just now heard it. Just like that. And why? Because each degree is made of new 10 sfirot, and they begin from zero. And a zero which is more significant than the previous zero.
What changes all the time?
Your attainment changes. When you overcome this zero, you get higher, reach higher.
Why we cannot use what we had before to go up?
מדוע אנחנו לא יכולים להשתמש במה שהשגנו קודם כדי לעלות למדרגה הבאה?
It can't be. They're a new set of 10 sfirot. 10 new sfirot. Why don't you understand? 10 new sfirot. And so, each and every detail, every item, every action in spirituality, it's completely severed from what was before. It completely doesn't have anything to do with it. And even more so, the higher you are, the lower you need to fall. And from there to again reach a higher place. And that's how it is. From 0, minus 10, plus 10, minus 20, plus 20, minus 30, plus 30. And so forth, as the advantage of light out of darkness. In order to identify greater light, you need to first feel greater darkness.
Why people who are in the world, why they don't go down, up, come like us?
מדוע האנשים הרגילים בעולם לא עולים ויורדים, ירידות ועליות כמו שאנחנו?
For them, there's no such thing. They're not correcting anything. They're not correcting anything. Only we do. It only applies to us, to the spiritual work. It's only for us. And in the regular endeavors people engage in, they're always in the will to receive. There's no will to bestow in them. And so There's nothing you can do about that. There's no difference between light and darkness for them.
My will to receive changes all the time?
Yes. Through the light, it constantly illuminates on it, and it changes from minus to plus, a greater minus to greater plus, constantly. And through all of these jumps or incursions, you could say, you begin to receive an understanding, a sensation of the difference which exists between darkness and light to a greater and greater extent. And we need to go through many thousands of such procedures. We go through them. We don't even feel it, but we do. So that's in order to begin to, manage.
I'm sorry, Rav. Can you actually just go over again what is patience?
Patience stems from the condition which goes, as it is written, be quiet. That's how it was thought. Meaning that what the Creator thought of is discovered at the end of correction, and before that you'll always have questions, problems, complaints, and so just be quiet and continue. That is the measure of faith which we must acquire. And patience is... Patience is the sum total of the conditions of Arvut, the covenant, the support of the society, love, and all these things. All these things support this patience with which I can simply advance with my eyes closed. What can you do? Otherwise, we can't transition from world to world. With all other methods, people remain in the same world, and so they don't have the same transition, let's say, between plus and minus, between ascents and descents. They don't feel it, they don't understand what we're going through at all. Yes? No. Yes?
Why is the path of the spirituality is concealed from a person?
It's revealed, you just can't see
Why
it.
don't I see I need to invest amount of time to get to a certain point?
So that you will have the kelim, the vessels with which to see.
But as everything's concealed, I need to invest a lot of time and energy.
Because you don't have the vessels, I'm telling you. You don't even know what you're missing. Why? Because you don't have vessels. Because if you had the vessels of bestowal and vessels of reception, then you would have been a beast. But here, through exertion, you must acquire these vessels, and then they will be your own. Then you'll be able to stand opposite the Creator on the same level to understand and know Him. No. These things, we need to continue, and then you feel them. A lack of vessels. A lack of feeling. That's why we have this claim. Why am I not feeling? Feel, go ahead. Spirituality is open. We're blocked, we're shut in. Yes.
Rav, this paragraph really describes a prayer that goes up, rises,
yes,
and it goes up to certain stages. I just wanted to ask, when the prayer raises, does the person also go up?
Of course.
Rise up?
But the more he ascends, he doesn't ascend with his man. No, because his man rises only to the adjacent degree, the one degree higher than him, and all the rest of the degrees he doesn't know about. He can be at most right next to the degree which is the next degree above him, but the ascent of his man to Ein Sof and its descent back down, he doesn't control it, he doesn't know it or feel it. Nobody does. The more you ascend, always, only the Partzuf directly above you will be for you as the womb, as the upper one, but anything above it you don't know anything about. You don't attain. You don't have the vessels. Yes.
So when a person was in prayer, he doesn't feel if his prayer is correct or complete.
No, because otherwise you won't have free choice. You won't have exertion to make. Exertion is not that I know that this is one way, I need to make it be another way. No, it's not to carry 50 kilos from somewhere to a different place, some baggage. No. Exertion is the yearning for connection, for bestowal, for awareness and recognition, and especially for what? To love the Creator. Yes.
Sometimes we read Psalms, or what Zohar is describing here, and he actually feels a lot of very strong feelings. So he does feel something. I don't know if it's called a prayer, but David HaMelech and Malchut, he does feel within the prayer feelings. Are those feelings, do they not have any connection to how high the prayer went up?
No, never. According to his own sensations, he can't tell where he is. Never. He can feel, so-so, or even nothing, or even less than nothing. And still, it is the most powerful. It works the most powerfully, and we can't measure that. That's why you're not free to idle from the work. Continue, please.
ספר זוהר לעם, כרכי עמוד 303, מאמר מהו שבת. 174. כיוון שנכנס השבת והמדורה ההיא הסתתרה.
174. When the Shabbat begins and that fire hides in the great deep, all the fires of the harsh fire hide and surrender, because the fire, stormy wind, is the root for all the harsh dinim. Even the fire of the hell and the wicked in hell have rest, and everyone above and below have rest. When the Shabbat ends and Israel bless on the fire, all the fires that hid come out, each to its place. To not evoke another fire from those that hid, it is written, "You shall not kindle a fire in any of your dwellings on the Shabbat day." 175. When the Shabbat begins, the herald calls through all the firmaments, "Establish yourselves, O assemblies, establish yourselves, O camps before your master." Then a single spirit comes out from the south, the light of Chesed, and that spirit spreads over all those armies and camps on the right side who clothe in it. That spirit is called garments of honor of the Shabbat. At that time, the tables that people set in this world are established in a certain place, Malchut, a certain palace, Malchut. Happy is a man whose setting of the table is seen there properly, and everything is corrected without shame, each according to his strength. 176. When the Shabbat arrives, A holy nation needs to wash themselves from the work of the weekdays. It is so because on weekdays another spirit walks and roams and stays over the people. And when one wishes to come out of that spirit and into another spirit, high and holy, he must wash himself so that upper holy spirit would be on him. 177. All those 6 days, Chagat Nehi de Zerampin, unite at a single holy point, Malchut, and all the days unite in her. And there are other days, standing outside, in the Sitra Achra, Chagat Nehi de Klipot. There are also other days, standing inside the holy circle, Chagat Nehi de Malchut, uniting at the holy point, Malchut de Malchut. 178. The holy Israel and all those who engage in Kedusha on all the Shabbat days unite in all those 6 days of theirs in those 6 days inside, Chagat Nehi de Malchut, which unite at the point of Malchut de Malchut, uniting in her in order to keep her. And all those 6 days of the Sabbath are of the hidden point, Chagat Nehi de Malchut. When the Sabbath comes, the point, Malchut de Malchut, rises, crowns, and unites above, and all are hidden in her. Malchut, which is called a point, receives from Zerampin the 6 days in him, Chagat Nehi. Hence, there are 2 Pchinot in her, Chagat Nehi, that she received from Zerampin, and her own Pchina. The difference between them is that Chagat Nehi, that she received from Zerampin, is light of Chasadim, and her own Pchina, which is called a point, is light of Chokhmah. Therefore, the 6 workdays are Chagat Nehi de Malchut, that she received from Zerampin, and the Sabbath is the domination of her own point. Also, the 6 workdays, her own Chagat Nehi, are hidden in her, not ruling and unseen, and only Malchut of her own essence governs and is seen. 179. There are weekdays, Chagat Nehi de Sitra Achra, which stand outside, toward the nations. The Sabbath days, which are the 6 days of the week, stand for Israel, who are Chagat Nehi de Malchut. And when the point rises, Malchut de Malchut, meaning Malchut of her own essence, everything is concealed, all 6 Sfirot, Chagat Nehi in her, are concealed, and she ascends. Once she arises, she is called the Sabbath. 180. Why is she called Shabbat, Sabbath? Is it because of the rest, as it is written, because in it he rested from all his work? However, when that point ascended, and her light shines, she is crowned in the fathers, Chagat Zerampin, and then bonds and unites with them to be one, and it is all called Sabbath. That is, Malchut along with the fathers are called Sabbath. Sabbath has the letters of Shin Bat, which means daughter. Shin has 3 fathers that unite in a single daughter, Malchut, since the 3 letters Vav in the letter Shin imply the 3 fathers, Chagat. The daughter crowns in them, and the fathers crown in the next world, Binah. This is Shin Bat, so all will be one. Malchut receives Chokhmah only upon her ascent from Chazed Zerampin and above, the place of his Chagat. There are 2 states in it. 1. When he is in the 2 great lights, at that time their level is the same, in a way that one does not need the other, and they do not receive from one another. Chagat Zerampin receive from the right line of Ima, Chasadim, and Malchut receives from the left line of Ima, Chokhmah. That state is regarded as Achoraim, because since the Chokhmah is alone without Chasadim, it does not illuminate. 2. When Malchut has already descended from Chazed Zerampin and below, when she receives Chasadim, and after she has Chasadim, Zerampin raises her to his Chagat, when where the Ayin Bet illuminates, as it is written, and went, and came, and pitched, and she receives from them Chokhmah. This state is regarded as mochin of panim de panim, face to face. And when this point rises and her light illuminates, because she rises to a gut after the light of Chassidim illuminates in her, in the second state of panim de panim, she is crowned in the patriarchs Chagat de Zerampin, who receives from them Chokhmah, from the name Ayin Bet in them. At that time she bonds and unites in them to be one, not as the first state of Achoraim, which were separated from each other, when Chagat were receiving Chasadim from the right line of Ima, and Malchut was receiving Chokhmah from the left line of Ima. Rather, now, in the second state, she bonds and unites with the Chagat to be one with them. Now Malchut herself does not receive the Chokhmah from the next world, from Binah, as in the first state. Rather, Malchut receives the Chokhmah from Chagat Zerampin, and Chagat receives Chokhmah from the next world, imparting upon Malchut. This is why it was said that it is Shin Bat, daughter, so that they all become one. The fathers are Shin, and Malchut is the daughter, implied in a single name, Shabbat, indicating that now they are in the second state, one, and not separated in the first state. This is the Shabbat. 181. The great Shabbat is Binah. She is above, where the Chokhmah is hidden and not revealed. Why is she called Shabbat? It is because a point in which there is Chokhmah, which is called eyes, is called a bat, a daughter, since she is the heart of the whole eye. There are 3 colors in the eye, Chagat. The 4th color is a black point, Malchut, and only in that is the Chokhmah, called eye, revealed. This is why it is the heart of all the colors of the eye. 182. The next world, Binah, is a palace for the upper point, the upper Chokhmah. When she stands and takes the fathers in her wings to crown them above, then all are called Shabbat. Thus, when the fathers are crowned above, at the uppermost point, they are called Shabbat. And when the bottom point, Malchut, is crowned in the fathers, she is called Shabbat. A point always implies Chokhmah. The intimation is to the black point in the eye, also called the pupil of the eye. This is the core that befits the title eye, Chokhmah, since the other 3 colors in the eye are Chagat, in which Chokhmah, which is called vision, is not revealed. Thus, there are 2 Partsufim called points among the Partsufim of Atzilut. 1. Upper Chokhmah, Abba ve'Ima. 2. Lower Chokhmah, Malchut. However, although Abba ve'Ima are upper Chokhmah, they do not disclose the Chokhmah in their own Partsufim, but in Partsuf zzsolt, which is called Binah. Binah, zzsolt, is a palace for the upper point, Abba ve'Ima. Abba ve'Ima do not disclose the Chokhmah in them, but in the palace, Binah. Yet, in Binah, too, the Chokhmah appears only on the 3 lines, Chagat, which are called fathers. It follows that the uppermost point reveals the Chokhmah in it only to Binah, when she is crowned and giving Chokhmah in her 3 lines, the patriarchs. Binah receives 3 lines, the patriarchs, to crown them in the upper Chokhmah. At that time all are called Shabbat, because the upper point, upper Chokhmah, that is revealed by the fathers, is called daughter. The fathers themselves are called Shin, and together they are Shabbat. It follows that when the fathers are crowned above, in the upper point, they are called Shabbat, and when the lower point, Malchut, is crowned in the fathers, receiving Chokhmah, she is called Shabbat. It is so because Shabbat includes illumination of Chokhmah within it, which is called a daughter, and the illumination of the fathers, which is called Shin. This applies in both Binah and Malchut, and this is why both are called Shabbat.
ותכין גם יחד מה טוב ומה נעים שבתכין גם יחד הנה מה טוב שבתכין גם יחד הנה מה טוב שבתכין גם יחד.
חברים, מחר הכנה לשיעור בשעה 2:45. נא להחזיר את הספרים לספר.